Hello, everybody, and welcome to Paranormal Nation Radio. Not so normal, as we do every Tuesday night. Right beside me always is Denise Pradmore. How
Well,
are
at
you?
least right now.
Yeah,
At least right
right.
now I'm beside you.
Yeah, that's right.
So I
And
hope
everything.
I hope Carl is good.
Yeah, it's just been a rough week. I got a real nice shiner right here. My Jeep decided to fight back. So we got to pull the transfer case out of it and rebuild it. So
Oh, that's not
yeah.
good.
Yeah, bar I had up there, I thought I had it real nice and secured, and I went to get another bar to help it. And when I turned around, it decided it wanted to fly down in there.
Oh,
So, oh, we got Barbara in there.
hey
Good.
Barbara.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about the show, Barbara, here in a little bit and
Yeah,
everything. But, so how's Denise been?
I still have shingles. I'm still in pain. I I'm dealing with what I can deal with, and eventually it'll get better. But I did have a really good visit on Saturday with Katie and Katie Stafford, with Shay Moyers,
Mm-hmm.
and let's see who else. Carter Bouchard. He's a UFO hunter out of Liberty, Missouri. And I'm pointing north for those of you who can't tell. So I visited with all of them. I met some guys out of Jerseyville, Illinois, who feel the same way I do about certain ghost hunters.
Okay.
Out of Alton, Illinois, and met that's the Holsky podcast. I met them. I met Marianne, who
Hi
is
there.
the lead. They're the team that is taking care of the Beatty Mansion, and they invited me and Ron up there to tour it and to visit with them. And let's see what else. I just met a bunch of people,
So you
and
got to go to St. Joe to the Beatty Mansion.
I get to go. Yeah.
Oh, you get to go. Oh,
Mhm.
okay. Yeah.
So I'm gonna go up there, and I don't know what the invite entails. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But they seem like really nice people um, that are doing the tours up there.
So now they're in charge of it.
Hmm.
The other
Because
one, the other one went bye bye.
they burn down everything they touch.
I know. They're at the 1859 jail now.
I know, but
I
you know
know.
what? They're not doing tours of the Vale Mansion
Mm-mm.
because they effed that up.
Mm-hmm.
So Aprix gets what they deserve. So, but yeah, I had to, and I invited Mary to go visit with Katie and Katie because he thought he still had to go through Ed. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
no, you don't have to go through Ed. So, needless to say, it's interesting anyway. And next week I have Katie and Katie on. So, and they were telling me about, uh, well, Katie told me about some of the stuff he was working on,
Hey,
and
Pastor Gary made it in.
hey, and so basically he gave Easter eggs. You got to figure out what it means, what he said.
Right.
So, but yeah, he shared some pictures of him and Sarah Lemos up in Montana. Sarah Lemos is filming that show with Tim Wood and Sapphire up there, the Gunslinger Gulch Ghost Town show.
Right.
He and Katie is not part of that. So they just happened to be in the same town at the same time and got to hang out together for a little bit.
Right.
But, I know what it means because I researched it, but I'm not allowed to tell.
Cool.
So
Well, I'm so glad that Beatty changed their things up there
they
and
changed it
everything.
well over almost 2 years ago at this point.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, the last I knew, the other ones were up there.
Nope.
Hmm.
So that's when
I
we
haven't I
decided.
haven't been following them anyway, so because they took over the 1859 jail and stuff, and I still got a free investigation to do down there.
Yeah,
dusk to dawn.
once you screw a friend, you're no longer part of the inner circle.
Right.
It's
I'm
just the way it goes.
not
So,
worried about it, but yeah, it's just things. And speaking of things, everybody, we're over on the Things Network, so go check them out over on their Facebook page too. So, Denise, you have a guest with us tonight.
yes, I do. I brought in a friend of mine from up in Lincoln, Nebraska. Her name is Cheryl Ann Elliott Fletcher. She is a medium and a life coach. She's also was also she graduated from college not that long ago with a degree in criminal. She's probably yelling at me right now. So she criminal justice is what it is.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, she's been a friend of mine for quite a while. She did some remote readings for us at the when we were at Malvern, and then you met her at Malvern
Yeah, I met her at Melbourne.
when I invited her out to do that, and she came out to Ron's surprise birthday party. And
Hey, there's Luke in there.
hey, Luke,
We was just talking about you earlier off
Luke,
air.
you got screwed. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you did, brother. Real bad. So, Kelly Elliott, we got a lot of people coming in tonight. Thank you, Ruth Albee. So, let's bring Cheryl Ann up on the screen. Hello,
Hi,
Cheryl.
everybody.
Hey,
Yeah,
Cheryl Ann.
I met you up at Melbourne Manor.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, I remember that. I mean, that was actually our first time up there, wasn't it?
No, it was the last time we went up there.
Oh, the last time.
Yeah, the snow. Well, it snows every time we go up there.
It's either snowing or it's hotter than.
110.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah,
You
but
know.
no, it snowed that night. So it was our last visit up there because
Right.
Ron got sick and I had to take down the tent, and we had snow in our room. And
Oh, yeah, that's when all that went on.
yeah, when we had to stay, we ended up staying there until like noon because the roads were shit.
Yeah. Oh, I remember. Yeah,
Mhm.
I remember.
A lot
Yeah.
went on with just more than snow, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that
Yeah.
every time we go up there, there's always activity of some type up
Yeah.
at Melbourne.
Some kind of weather, but I can guarantee that anytime it snows, Josh Hurd's probably wondered, did Denise cross the state line?
Yeah. Probably
Because-
looking for you out the window.
Well, they're not
Probably.
even- the thing is, they didn't even call for snow
Yeah.
until we left to go up there this
Mhm.
time. This
Chad, Melbourne Manor is in Melbourne, Iowa.
Yep.
It's
Not Melbourne Manor, Melbourne.
MALBERN.
Yeah.
Iowa. So, yeah, there's a figure. Yep,
Yeah, there's a figure back there
it was Ron.
over there.
Yeah.
There's a
I got to get used to which way points on this thing again.
shelf
Yeah.
clouds. Or
So-
west
You got some
is
shelf clouds.
Black.
Oh, okay. So we got some bad
It
weather
is
coming
getting
in.
ready to do something, and the wind was picking up. Hey, everybody!
Hello, Ron.
Hello, Ron.
It's tornado
Nice to
storm
see
coming. Good to see you.
Yeah, likewise.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Just getting through some things. Let's see, two things of cancer in the family. Mark, my ex, had cancer of the throat. Got through some surgery there. He's on the mends, and then I had a little bit of cancer on the end of my nose, which they did surgery. It was called, skin cancer, basal carcinoma. But I had that taken off, and surgery went really good, and hardly any scarring, and had a great surgeon. Thought it was awesome. I'm telling you, no, not the actual disease. Understand my story.
Right.
The actual whole thing that went down, like I never had a surgery in my life.
Really?
Except, tonsils when I was a child.
Yeah.
But who
Mhm.
remembers that much? But so, I thought, oh my God, I'm facing a challenge, even though it was tiny, tiny situation here on my nose.
Mm-hmm.
He said, oh my God. See, this funny story. So I take some happy medicine, Xanax, before I go in because I was really freaking out with anxiety. And it is a real thing. Anxiety is real. And so when I went in, it was so funny because I didn't care about anything. Right. When I'm in there and I'm on Xanax, I'm doing real well. So when they take me into the operating room, you guys are going to die laughing. I have never seen an operating room in my life except when I was a tiny kid.
Yeah.
And they wheel me in there. And the nurses, are talking to me and such and everything. And they're wheeling me in and they're going, straight away. And then they turn right. And I'm thinking I'm going into these double doors into the OR. But no, they were backing me into a room. And when we were backing in, they got ready to swing me around to get me a position, to transfer me from that bed to the gurney thing. And I'm like this, holy Jesus, have I come into heaven? And everybody in that room is laughing their butts off going, really? This is a newbie.
Yep.
And I'm like freaking out going, oh my God, the lighting is so bright.
It is.
I was asking them, are we in heaven? But of course they had no idea who I am because been there, done that. So nobody in the room would have said, well, didn't you see that coming? You already been there, but
Right. No.
So it was just too funny. It was just too funny of a situation. That was the best part of it, and coming out of it doing real well. So yeah, I'm good though. I'm all good.
Yeah, Ron has survived basal cell skin cancer. And
where was yours at?
His parents. His was on the side of his face.
It was right there. They cut me from here down to here about my jawline.
Yeah, I can see
Why that far?
Because they had to get in there. It was that deep.
They had to open it all the way up and make sure. Yeah, I mean, you really can't tell unless you really look at it.
Yeah, you can't
Yeah,
tell.
that's true.
Yeah,
they did a really good job. I was awake for the whole on that one.
Not me, man. I said knock me out.
Oh yeah, I was awake for the whole thing, and I could tell, it went all the way down like that, and then he kind of grabs it and just like opens my face up. I'm like, oh crap, this isn't gonna be good.
He said when I went in there that, this is such a weird story. First, it started out like 3 years ago as like a staph infection on the end of the nose because staph lives in your nose. So they froze it. I asked them to freeze it after all that went down because I was left with a knot and I thought it was just something weird. So they froze it, which actually in the long run saved my nose because they froze the cancer cells.
Yeah.
So when they finally did open that up, it was just on the flap of the nose, and it didn't go all the way deep. It didn't go clear through the nose and just went up a little ways, thank God, because the parameter wasn't as big as I was scared to death it was going to be. So it all worked out. You worked the skin graft and, fixing it and everything. It turned out real nice. So.
Well, I got a question for you. That being the first time in the hospital in the surgery room, and you're a medium, how did that feel?
It was really strange, honestly. It really was because, when he leaned over me, my anesthesiologist leaned over me, and because and before they wheeled me in, I said to him, in the beginning I was just wanting to be a little localized, but then I chose to go ahead and be knocked out. So when he was standing there talking to me before they even wheeled me in, he said to me, are you wanting to be completely knocked out or just a little loopy? I said, no, knock me out. So when they put me in there, and then he leaned over, looked at me and said, any minute now I'm going to give you some medicine. You're going to be knocked out. And I looked up at him. I said, oh, really? And just as I was looking up to see him and saying, oh, really? It was really bizarre because I saw a whole lot of people in that room besides them. That freaked me the hell out. I was like, oh my God. And what's even more weird is knowing that those people not only passed away in that room, but there were travelers, so many travelers. You can't even freaking believe it. It was like I had an audience of like 30 people in there. And it wasn't just the humans. It was other people. So, yeah.
Well, that answered that question real good.
It's always strange when you're in an ER anyway, ER, OR, hospitals. They're one of the most haunted places there are in the world.
And that's
Yeah.
why I have such high anxiety when I go in to them, even to see a friend or whatever the case may be. I'm already going 100 miles an hour anyway, knowing that I'm going to go in there. And then, of course, I get to go in there and I get to see people walking in there that don't belong there, literally, because they're already gone.
Yeah.
But I'm also running into people that I know. And it's like, oh, God, just give me something so that I'm just.
Can't pay attention to all of it.
Yeah.
You need
And
blinders.
And then sometimes I've done that as even at funerals, because I can sit in a funeral for closure for myself, especially if it's a case I've worked on.
Mhm.
And I'll take a little something just to calm me down, because, man, I'm just hearing it from everybody that's been there and done that. You know what I mean?
Yep. Like I said, when I go to the hospital, it's one of those things that I don't even want to tell anybody about the stuff that you're seeing and hearing. Down here at Menorah Medical Center, we went to the ER when I had my collapsed lung, and I described this guy to the lady that was
you've seen
checking
him
me
before,
in.
right?
Yeah, I'd seen this guy every time I'd been in the ER there. I mean, I'm talking like 5 or 6 times I'd seen this guy. She told me it was her father when I described him. Oh, that's a nice looking mug.
Yeah, I think her niece sent them to him.
That's really nice.
Huh?
That's nice.
Oh, they were Shermans. They were her brothers.
Wow.
And then this one is
Oh, from Circus Circus. Is that what it said? Circus Circus?
Yeah.
Circus. Yeah.
That's weird. It would say, because that looks more like it would be Treasure Island.
That's what I thought when I first seen the skull and the swords, but it's Circus Circus Treasure Hunt.
Yeah, Circus Circus is down the street from Treasure Island.
Mhm.
About, let's see.
That's what she sent you.
1, 2. It's probably 3 huge buildings down the road. Because you've got you got this huge shopping mall, and then Trump Tower, and then I think Circus Circus is right after that. So it's sad. I mean, it is truly sad how well I know the Strip.
Mm-hmm.
But they're going to be changing the Strip here real soon. They're tearing out which one is it? Mirage. They're tearing down the Mirage, and they're taking out the Fire and Water show. So there will no longer be the volcano there. So hopefully it'll still be there when we go in a couple weeks, because I told Ron to go one more time before they take it all away.
Yeah.
Right.
So you got to have something to do that's free. I mean, Vegas, you shouldn't have to pay for every damn thing in Vegas.
Right. They make so much money as it is. I mean, come on.
Well, they shut down our hotel, or shutting it down. The casino will still be open, but you can't book a room. So needless to say, that's $300 extra we have to spend that we wouldn't spend otherwise.
Right.
So, and then you have to add in the gas. Our gas is going to go up about $300. So,
and
let's top this all off. Last night, guess what happened? My roof started leaking.
Oh my geez!
So we gotta now we gotta. I have already got a roofer called and trying to get him scheduled. Got a claim filed. And it's like, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I really appreciate my non-leaking roof. I'll appreciate it more, I guess, after I get a new roof.
Exactly.
Did it do any damage to the walls?
Yes. I have to call Surf Pro. I got to get them in here too.
Ooh, you got a bad leak.
Well, we don't know how much damage, because everything, all of our weather had been ice and snow. So it just it didn't get into anything. But last night the rain was sideways. So it went up under the roof, and the kind of shingles that we have, because it's the second roof, they just kind of lifted up and let the water in. But the guy told me that because we're a referral, we're getting a better shingle than we have now.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll get a discount on our insurance for these shingles.
Mm.
Oh, nice.
So at least, I mean, I wrote down everything State Farm told me. So, because the last time we had a roof, it was 1%, and
Isn't Jake
1%,
in that?
huh?
Isn't Jake State Farm?
Yeah, Jake.
Did you talk to him? Tell me. you
No,
spoke to Jake.
but it is the State Farm out of Atchison, Kansas that I deal with.
That's great.
Oh,
So, yeah, our friend used to work there that lived he lives in Atchison. And so when he was working there, he needed to get clients and we needed new insurance. So we went with them and we still have them. And so needless to say, I think that their homeowners insurance might be better than their car insurance. Because
I just want to know what they're wearing.
Well, I
I'm
think
so bad.
red shirt, khaki pants.
I'm hoping that as long as they have them closed, I don't care. They're teasing
How much-
about Jake from State Farm.
How much rain did you guys get down there?
I don't know.
Enough to get our roof leaking. And we got more coming in. In fact, if we lose power, you'll know why, because we got low-hanging black clouds right over us.
Oh,
right
really?
now.
Yeah, they said some more storms were going to come up our
Yeah,
way.
that's why
so.
I cut my walk short. It was
Yeah, I didn't
moving
expect
in.
you here.
Oh, you
Yeah,
didn't want to get
you
wet?
see out there, it's looks like it's 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night.
Well, so
No.
far, it just looks like rain.
Up here, it's rain mixed with snow.
Well, up there,
Yeah.
But you can keep that up there.
I know.
I had to go up to Marysville, and I thought it was going to snow up there.
yeah, I don't think we're going to see much.
No.
Except for just rain.
I hope not. I don't want any more. I'm ready for spring. I'm solely already set for spring. Yeah.
Yeah,
But we got
Yeah.
lightning.
yeah, we got lightning. I saw the lightning. That's why
Whoa.
that's why I cut it short. I was like, it's moving this way, and
That's
I
not
had
cool.
my raincoat on, and then I took it off, and the sun popped back out, and I took it off. That was a mistake.
But the temperature, the temperature's going down.
So, Cheryl, you got a degree in criminal justice.
I do.
Right.
Oh, yes, I do.
And
Proud of that.
do you use it?
Yes, I do.
And what do you do?
Okay, let's get there. Well, like for today, I just printed off a 200-page breakdown of interviews that were taken through a police department, whereas people were being interviewed to make sure that a gunshot to the head on a victim was either A, suicidal, or B, a murder. I also have in my possession the actual autopsy report, along with the autopsy report and the report from the police department. I am contracted out privately to re-examine cases that are supposedly over. But in this bizarre case, this came to me through a friend of a friend and her son, talking about a son who's 17, at a house doings, and was hanging out with a couple of guys, and they claimed the gun went off by suicidal shooting, which I know better.
Mm-hmm.
And not only, and now with reading some into the 200-page papers of all the interviews of the people who witnessed and or were at this house party, a lot's not adding up. And from what I understand, there are some evidence that has not even been shown to the judge. Now, on a case of manslaughter, the state statute is you can reopen the case provided you have something within 3 years. This without reasonable doubt, or I mean with a reasonable doubt, and a chain of evidence that would obviously warrant the judge to take a good look at it and reopen the case. And although this is a the sentencing was manslaughter, it's 3 years. to open it, reopen it. And in murder, you can open it anytime if you
Right,
have
'cause
something.
there's no statute of limitations on murder.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and the thing about statute of limitation when it comes to murder, once you're tried, you're tried. So you're
Right.
done.
Yeah, you
So-
got to
Yeah.
make sure you got it 100% before you try it.
Right.
Well, with manslaughter, it's a whole different game. You have 3 years to reopen, and that, of course, can accelerate. This case will accelerate into murder. So I'm working a case currently, and I do use it. I also do cold case work, obviously. And
Mhm.
I've done a lot of different cases here in Nebraska and abroad over remote viewing, and or like on a talk show and getting the messages to the correct people.
Right.
I do that too. I think the most enjoyment that I get from this particular genre of life that I do is knowing that not only am I reading like verbatim words, but I'm also, when I'm reading literally into the actual scene of the
Right.
event itself. And what really sucks, like Denise would know, is that even though we do these things, we see it and we feel it and we smell it.
Right.
We can blood splatter. It's the most freakiest part for me, is because when it happens and it splatters, I'm not only seeing it as a projectile type of situation splattering everywhere, but I can smell it. And that's horrid. And then, you see the actual victim of what happened during that course of time, the sounds that are going on around you, like all the motion, the commotion, and the sound of the swift gunshot. I mean, if you've ever really stopped and paid attention to listen to it, like if you ever had the opportunity to slow down a gunshot, it's a language of ejection so quick and so swift that to listen to it, it's got its own language of its own. So to be able to hear all that, even in slow motion and or fast motion, and we see it, and I live it. That's the hard part, but that's the beauty of it, is to bring the closure. The closure is
Right.
everything. It's like, yeah.
Well, that's cool that you got your gift and being able to do stuff like that. Yeah, I can see how that can bring a lot of closure to a lot of people.
Well, I would think that it gives her a little bit more validation with
Right.
the authorities that she has this degree, not just, hey, they're going to go,
Right.
she's that weird psychic woman. They're not going to go medium. They always say psychic.
Yeah.
Because they don't know the
Yeah.
difference, but they're going to go, it's that weird psychic woman again.
Yep.
In
Exactly.
this case, it changes it because
Yeah. Because the
she's-
nice thing about it, you can look
Yeah,
at
piece of
both
paper.
things. You can use your
Yeah.
gift and you
Mhm.
use your justice degree
yeah,
Right.
critical
going
thinking.
through and everything. So,
And see, Denise, you're so spot on there, because that was the reason, and you know that in your heart, that the reason why I went to school for that is because not only is law in my blood, but it also runs through my blood, and I'm the type of person, when I do a reading, and especially somebody who's been hurt, I don't care what it is, I cannot let go until I have closure. And that's why I chose criminal justice, because, well, what scenes I have worked, the minute I bring up the fact that, hey, look, hear me out. This is how I do it. I say, hear me out. I'm in criminal justice. I have my degree. Please hear me out. I also have a talent, a very gifted talent, and just let me help you. Just let me show you what I can do, and let me just hear me out. And that opens the door, because when you drop that bomb of, hey, I've got that degree in criminal justice, people listen.
mm-hmm.
They hear that credibility. They hear the credibility.
Yeah, it's the
Right.
minute that you go, now, telling the police officer his mom standing behind him is when he goes,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, I got a story for you about something like that. But I was working a case I think probably like 6 or 7 years ago, and this case was up in Elba, Nebraska. And I not only had 7 witnesses that seen all this, because they rode up with us to go up to the scene. This guy was missing, and his name was Bobby. So that kind of was near and dear to my heart because my son was named Bobby. And he had been missing for like 10 days, and they had dragged, they were dragging ponds, and they were thinking he was shot because it was hunting season. They couldn't find this dude. So I got in the car and I went up there with 7 other people, and I went right exactly to the pond where they were dragging for him, and told him, I went up on the hill and I was looking down on this pond, and I could see his entire face in the pond. So I knew he was there. So when the police saw me and realized I was crossed the yellow lines or the tape, I didn't give 2 shits whether or not I crossed it. It's about getting that person out of that water. Closure.
Right.
Well, Mark, my ex at the time, went down and told the police, hey, look, just give her a second. Give her some time with you because she's about to tell you stuff you need to know. So they took me down there, and here's my final end of the story regarding that little statement you made about, the police officer's mom behind him. So I walk out onto this long island into this water. I explained to them exactly what happened. The man was in a boat with his dog. He was drinking. His wife, they had just had a newborn baby, and he went out on this man-made lake trespassing, wanting to go fishing. The dog made some problems in the boat, which rocked it too much. The guy lost balance. When he fell in, he clipped his head on the canoe that flipped, or the fishing boat, and cut him. So he ended up going down in the water. He went underneath the trees that they didn't even know the trees were in the water. And I said, you need to alleviate those or eradicate those trees for the body to come up. He'd been in that water 7 days. So long story short, we get over to the island. I'm walking down there. The guys with the dragging team for the dogs and such. He was pissed the minute he saw me. They had radioed down and said this, whatever they told him I was.
Yeah.
Well, we know it was probably psychic.
Well, we're psycho.
Well, we know how. I mean, it's true. When cops hear that a medium's here, the first thing they go is, "It's that damn psychic again."
Yeah.
Damn psychic.
Crazy lady.
So I walk out onto this island, and I'm talking to the head deputy about what had happened. He said, I had to know this. Were you here? And I said, well, I was here. And he said, what do you mean? I said, well, I can see what happened. And he said, everything you just said was never in the news. Where were you on the night of blah, blah, blah? I'm used to that. And I'm like, oh, I can validate where I was. No problem. Told him. But in the course of that time, I'm listening, and I can hear a long ass ways away. And I can hear a deputy woman and a deputy guy standing over there, away from where I was with this other dude. And I could hear him kind of giggling, about me. And I'm like, if you don't think I can't hear you, you are going to be about to get your shit blown out of the water here. So I walk up to him and I said, I really respect your jobs. I wish you could respect mine. I said, I'm only here to help. And they're like, well, yeah, okay, whatever. You're psychic, ha. And I said, excuse me? Oh, this is when it gets fun. I said, first of all, you are having an affair with her on company time.
Wow.
And secondly, I said, and I'm not even done. I said, secondly, you guys meet on company time. And I said, and you're infringing upon company time, and you guys are having an affair, and everyone out here on this island knows about it. So what is your freaking point? What did they do?
Uh-oh.
And the head of patrol was there. And I said, and then I turned around and said, oh, yeah, by the way, where you have your sonar, you're about 200 feet too far away from the body. But once you eradicate the trees, his body will, in fact, come up tomorrow morning on Easter, exactly on the south bank, right over there. And I pointed to where he would rise. And I said, oh, and by the way, have a great day. Walked away. I was so pissed. So guess what? The next morning, I get a call while we're in church, Mark, me, and the kids. And yeah, they called and told me that exactly did happen. They did eradicate the trees, and he did exactly come up on the south bank with a gash in his freaking head, like I said he would.
Wow.
Yeah, see that, you know what, when people look, I have learned in all the years of working, doing what I do, if you know what's really sad, and Denise, you know this, you can hear people talking shit, right? You hear them. And it's so disrespectful because a lot of times, even though there are people out there that are truly wannabes, and honest to God, we know that there are. But when you can actually, like I tell everybody in the paranormal field, I said, if you get you want to have a psychic on board, make sure you take them and have them interview each and every one of your people on your team and read each one to validate who they are. And I said, they're not going to be 100%. Nobody is.
No.
I said, but if they're at least 90%, then you got somebody who's pretty much on task with your abilities.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you want to do your validations that way because your credibility is everything, especially when you have a psychic on board.
Right. And
I like having psychics. I mean,
Yeah.
it's great for, we got a built-in one, but if we get an extra one, that's even better.
Oh, yeah.
In our investigations, that's why we asked you to come up to Malvern.
Well,
I know, right?
I want to see what you got.
It's one of those things that what people don't understand is that one medium might get one spirit and another medium might get another.
Different, yeah.
We may not get the same
Exactly.
and sometimes the same one shows up for both of them and they both get the same message. But I think that's very rare, that because not every spirit feels comfortable with every medium. They pick and choose who they want to talk to.
I have taken a certain individual, confidentiality here, but there is a certain person that I did take that stood in one room at the Farrar, and I was clear at the other room. And this person did have abilities, but wasn't sure, but had been clarified to have schizophrenia, which that right there, that word, oh, hell no. Anyway, I have my own theory on that, and I'm writing a book about that. But anyway, so I had that person over there, and I have myself over here, and I'm like, let's see if we can connect with the same spirit. Mm-hmm. Or what are you picking up that I'm picking up, and see if anything is comparable or collaborate. We can collaborate on it. And we met about an hour later, and we talked about our experiences. And ironically, you know, sometimes you do get those traveling souls that come by and come over here and say, hey, how you doing? We're talking with this one for a little bit. And then pretty soon they go over to this area of the building and they're talking to you about the same stuff. Because why? Their story, it's the same story. They're dead.
Yeah.
They're not going to tell you a different story. Mm-hmm. They're going to tell you what they want to know, and that's it.
Yeah, what they want you to know.
Exactly.
Or the message they want you to send.
Convey. Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, it's one of those things. You started having experiences how old?
Oh, my. Mine was 11 years of age due to a death experience. And that was proven by going to the hospital and by strangulation by a machine or a dumb waiter. A lot of people don't know what it is. So
I know what they are. I know what a dumb waiter is.
Yeah.
And it's not the guy at the restaurant.
Right.
No.
It wasn't him. He didn't strangle me, but anyway. I'd have beat him up, but anyway. Yeah, I was just doing, you know, in case there's somebody out there that doesn't know, it's a laundry chute elevator for maids that go up and down into the buildings when they're delivering, you know, linens.
It could also be used for taking food up to another level.
Yeah.
You don't have to carry stairs.
Or strangulating people.
Or strangulating people.
Well, some kids tended to get in them and try to go down.
Yeah, that was me. Me and Christy, a little girl that happened to be there. We were playing one afternoon. Mom took me there. My mom always took us kids to keep us out of trouble. You know, in the summer, she'd make us go with her and work because she was a maid. And we tried to crawl in that thing to go down. And when I was getting in it, of course, it descended too soon. And Christy didn't know that she'd pushed the button, I don't think. And it captured my neck and my throat against the concrete as it was descending. Mm-hmm. And that's what happened to me. And if she hadn't to push that button at the right time, it would have severed my head. So I went to a very interesting place. And Denise, I think you know that there's like 6 or 7 different levels of death that I've experienced during that course of that time. And, what everybody thinks they see is not what you think you see. The light is 100% accurate. The lighting, my theory is, and always will be, is that that's when we're transcending out of this life and being rebirthed into the next life as we are coming through the canal of birth. That's the lighting that we see. But it was so bright that it was to me like if you were to stand on a runway and, the big lights for the airplanes, imagine hitting your face against that and you can't see anything else. That kind of bright.
Mm-hmm.
So, I went through, I descended through a very dark time. It was terrifying. I went through a time where I could see many people, don't know who they were. I could hear all sorts of sounds that I didn't understand. Then, of course, your body feels like it's like, to me, I felt like my whole body was like tingling and I didn't know why. And I believe that's probably part of death. And then I recall the biggest 2 things that really freaked me out was I came into like a clearing and it was nothing but beauty. And I saw my family members, and people always ask me to this day, how do you know? And I said, because when I saw these people, I knew you just know your family.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You feel the love.
Yeah.
Right.
Even ones you never met.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. No, you just
In this
know.
case, you probably wouldn't have met any of them since she was 11.
Right.
Right.
Not a whole lot.
Yeah, not a whole lot of them.
But you knew.
Yeah.
And so then the next thing, and I know everybody that has heard this story just look at me like, what the, remember, and the only way I can describe it is like grays, little grays. And I saw a whole bunch of little gray people, like the figures of grays. And I saw a bunch of those. And and that's when I heard Christy screaming, and she had already hit the stop button, release button, and I'd fell back and hit my head on a wrought iron, for the walkway of the motel.
So you had concussion too, huh?
Yeah, I sure did. So my mom took me to the hospital because I was bleeding on my back, and because it not only caught me right at my wing bone and drug me into it. So that's how that happened. But since then, after that, it was like I saw my brother's death. And of all people, my best friend at the time of being 11, Patrick, was my favorite brother. He was a twin to Mike, and then there was Vance. But I saw Patrick's death, and I knew that he was going to commit suicide, and I knew how he was going to do it, which was by hanging. And I told my mom, like I thought I had a dream, because I was playing with Barbie dolls in the bed the night before it happened to him. Mm-hmm. And I told my mom, I got up and I said, Pat's going to die. And she said, no, Pat's not going to die. Go back to sleep. You're having a nightmare. And I said, no, Pat's going to die. And I was bawling. And she had to get me into bed and lay with me until I fell asleep. Well, 1:23 in the morning on January 23rd, 1971, the police knocked at my mom's door and said Pat had committed suicide on the 13th floor, which would be the Cornhusker building in Lincoln, Nebraska at the time.
How much older was your brother than you?
Oh, let's see. I was 11 and Pat was he was 18. So 18. 7. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was 18. Going on 19. So he was more 19, I would say, than 18, but yeah, so that's what happened. So they woke my mom, and my mom, I'll never forget this look as long as I freaking live. Like I'm hanging onto my mom's, stomach and hips and looking up at my mom. And when they told her that, and I came out of the bedroom and heard it, and, I was hanging onto my mom bawling, my mom looked down at me like,
how'd you know?
Yeah.
And why didn't we stop him? I mean, that's probably what it was. She probably looked down at you and said, "Why didn't I believe her, and why couldn't I stop him?"
Yeah, and being a mom, as we know, the last thing you want to hear is she was dead before us.
Right.
My
But-
mom was so distraught. What, hon?
Well, she probably felt like a failure.
Yeah.
I mean, because when someone commits suicide, especially our children, we feel like we failed them somewhere.
Mhm.
And I hope I never have to feel that feeling.
Well, back in the day, Mom had that station wagon. It was like 100,000 feet long.
Oh, yeah.
The country squires. I don't know if you remember
Yeah.
those.
Yeah.
Yep.
She had 8 children, or 7 at the time, and that's why she had a station wagon. Well, I remember my mother had one of her arms. She could back smack one of us kids clear to the freaking back if she wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That thing-
Yeah. They could reach all the way to the back.
I tell you,
Yeah.
we test drove a car once, and when I was driving it, I reached around like this, and the guys in the back seat going, "What are you doing?" I said, "I got to make sure I can hit all the kids if they're misbehaving." And he thought I was kidding. I was like, "No, I have to be able, not that I had to hit them, but I had to reach them."
Well, at the time, disciplining your children was like God says in the Bible. The God clearly says that use the wrath and also a rod to discipline your children. Well, my mother had just disciplined Pat the night before.
Mhm.
And to this day, not to this day, but up until the day she died, that was one of her regrets. Was Mom asked me to go with her to take Pat to work the night before it happened, and I'm like in the middle of that big seat in the front. Mom's driving and Pat's to the right of me, and she got upset with Pat and she backhanded him, which flipped me in the face. And I looked up at her and I said, "You're going to regret that." Because I already knew that when we were, look, I'm going to tell you something. When I said, "You're going to regret that because he's not going to be here anymore," when Pat got out of that door, he shut the door, kid you not, turned around and looked at me like, how did I know?
Mhm.
And I knew right then that was the last time I'd seen my brother. And sure enough, that's God's honest truth. Yeah.
It's hard.
I think he had
Yeah.
been planning it before.
Oh, we went back in his room, and
Yeah.
him and Pat, Vance, and Mike. They would always melt their models, like their airplanes and their cars. They would melt them and they would stick them together like they had accidents,
Yeah.
or the airplanes would be hanging from the ceiling in their bedrooms. But next to the areas closest to Pat's closet, where the bunk beds were at the time, but if you would have walked back further in there and would have really taken note, like if Mom had really done some research in that room, what was going on really, Pat had little people hanging.
From the models, you mean?
Yeah.
Mm.
And those were obviously signs. Well, of course, we look at it years later, after the police,
Yeah.
of course. Now, here's the clinch of the story. Police ruled it a suicide. No. About 3 weeks prior to Pat's supposed suicide, he had a guy that was constantly nagging him at work like he was going to get Pat's job. Pat was a chef for the Cornhusker Hotel at the time. Pat also had an arm. His left arm was very small. It was damaged from a fall when he was a child, so it was very skinny.
Hmm.
So he couldn't raise it any more than this above his head. So when the police went up there and took Pat's body down, they had found 2 sets of footprints in that area, one being Pat's and somebody else's. Okay. So I would say maybe 3-4 years ago, and then 10-15 years ago, I had visited the Cornhusker Hotel, and I talked to my brother, and I even have it on audio. I asked Pat, I said, "Pat, did you take your life? Is it okay? It's totally okay if you tell me yeah." I understand fully. And he clearly said no, clearly. And then I asked him, I said, were you murdered? And he said, murdered. And you hear it clearly. And then so you have to understand they were at the time of demolishing the Cornhusker Hotel and building a whole brand new one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the people that were on task at the time with Pat during the cooking and all that stuff when he was employed at the time were passed away. His case, 71. Come on, we're talking 10 years ago. 71? Who's going to want to open a case that old?
Well, and the other thing is forensics weren't as good then as they are now.
No.
You couldn't match up somebody's shoe print to the brand of shoes back then as easily as you can now.
And what's even more creepy is the fact that after it was all said and done, the guy that people had said that was harassing Pat at the time, mainly because of his disability too. Again, when the police, the question was when Mike and Vance went up to see Pat in the autopsy, they saw gouging marks like this on his throat, like he had tried to get out of it.
Yeah.
He tried to get out of it. And then seeing the pictures of the 4 footprints in there, 2 of which belonged to Pat and somebody else, and then all the other little things that seemed to look a little fishy. Vance and Mike confronted the police, and there's, no, suicide. We know it's suicide, blah, 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 because of the way he's hanging. Well, excuse me, but if you're trying to get out, and there's 2 sets of prints and other things, I can't recall what Vance said, but it just didn't add up. So then when I went and did my own little investigation the first time and then the second time I asked Pat, I said, you and Mike and Vance all had a saying before you would hang up on the phone. And even my brother asked me about this, and I proved to Vance at the time that I got it on audio that I know what they said because nobody else knew. So Pat confirmed to me, he said they always said, I love you, brother. He said it in a perfect statement. I love you, brother. Perfectly. And then I went and did the same thing again for my brother Vance, because, even though Vance is intuitive and psychic, he wanted to see, I guess, how legit I am. So when I did it and I let Vance listen to the audio, he about shit his pants. But today I know it wasn't suicide, but I had to go through that incident in order to be who I am today and
Right.
to do the things that I do for Pat, and I owe it to Pat.
I tell people
Right.
all the time that all the shit I went through, my dad being murdered, not having a dad around as a teenage girl, getting married at 15, getting divorced, at 18, marrying him at 18, all these things. All these things.
She loves you. I know.
Did I put a gun to your head? There. See?
So, but all those things made me the person that the people know, that know me now.
Right.
If you knew me back then, I don't know if it was so hard to explain to people the stuff that I could see, at 4. I did not have a near-death experience until a few years ago, and then I don't even think it was near-death. I just stopped breathing for a couple minutes, and they moved my neck, and I was good.
Yeah.
I don't consider that a near-death experience. I didn't see anything. I didn't feel anything. I had no clue anything happened.
Right.
But, seeing stuff since I was 4 years old. And so that would have been, I hate to say it, so this would have been 1970, maybe 1969. I think my grandmother died like in February 1970 is when I saw her in an out-of-body experience. At 4, you don't know what an out-of-body experience is. How do you explain that to someone other than, I told my mom I saw this happen?
Right.
And when I was 10, I still couldn't really explain it other than I kept telling my mom I was there with Dad. I saw I saw Dad here at Grandpa's house. I saw Dad in the car. I saw Dad at the hospital. And this is what he said when he died.
Right.
And this is what he talked about, and, when you witness it all and you tell somebody and you're 10 years old, they think that you dreamt it all, that you heard them in the other room.
Yeah.
And I didn't hear a thing. My mom wasn't even home, at this point, because she had to go to the hospital to pick up my dad's girlfriend. I know that sounds weird, but
No, that's fine.
My parents were separated in 1973. So, and this was in 1975. So Mom and Yvonne was my mom's best friend before all this. Before all this.
Another story going on here.
Oh,
So needless to say, you want to hear something even funnier?
What?
My nephew, whose name is the same name as my dad, married a woman named Yvonne, and I told him not to do it because it was already foreshadowed to be bad. Guess what? He's in rehab. She needs to be in rehab. They're getting divorced. It's all been horrible. So,
Oh my God.
I said, don't do it. You don't. I mean, what are the odds of a Jenny Myers meeting an Yvonne?
Yeah.
And I think her last name was Johnson too. I don't know, but
Oh my God. No, wait, I gotta tell you this one. Wait, hold on. So imagine this. I married Mark, right? I married Mark. He was the oldest. Hear me out. He was the oldest in-law between 4 girls. Like, I married the oldest guy, and all my sisters married younger men.
well, you got to do what you got to do. And Mark loves you, so it doesn't matter.
And we used to laugh at that all the time, because at the time when Mark and I were married, we would laugh at that and say, you're the oldest son-in-law. And my sisters are all older than me.
Yeah. Huh.
But they married younger men.
Yeah.
mhm.
Well,
Queen Cadiques.
it's just weird how things happen. But yeah, it was. So, like I said, witnessing my dad's murder brought a lot of things. And like I said, it was all out of body. So I really, truly wasn't physically there.
Right.
It opened my eyes to a lot of things when my mom said, you can't tell people this stuff. You got to keep it to yourself. She goes, I mean, honestly, she didn't want to know. She didn't want to know what I could see. And when I would talk to my grandmother about it, she would say, you got the gift from the family. And I was like, well, which family? Was it my dad's family? Was it her, my grandmother's family on my mom's side? Was it my grandfather's, so okay. My mom's dad and my grandma, they married each other's sibling.
So they flipped it around, basically.
So yeah, my grandma and my grandma's brother married my grandpa's sister.
Scorecard.
So I had my mom had double first
You
cousins.
hear this cat purring?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So
okay.
they had double first cousins.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that my family is, I don't know. I have Cherokee on my mom's side, on my grandmother's side. On my grandfather's side, I have Blackfoot.
Wow.
So we don't know where this came from. And on my dad's side of the family, the Myers and the Roaches, and April can correct me, she's in the chat, I don't think we have any Native American on that side of our family. But April, who is on my grandmother's side of the family, on my dad's side, she has some abilities too. So there must be something in there that it was just all, she said, no, there's no Native American. Of course, my mom didn't know any of this. Neither did my grandma. My grandma did not know anything about my dad's side of the family. But she always said that you got this from all these female shamans in our family.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and April's kids, my kids too, April, my kids can sense stuff and see stuff as well. So it's, and I think Ron's family, some of his family members can see stuff.
Well, I found out that my dad's side was Cherokee and Irish and German, and then on my mom's side is Shoshone, Irish, and German. So I've got some like really weird stuff going on with the Indian self inside of me.
Yeah, but like I said, I tell people all the time, I'm Irish, English, German, and Indian, and two of them can't hold their liquor.
Right.
So needless to say, we all know I'm a fun drunk.
There you go.
I'm a happy one, and I'm not going to scalp you, but it is what it is. So, and
you're just going to carry your tomahawk around, and that's the warning sign that don't piss me off.
Oh right. No. But you see, the thing is my grandfather was a serial killer. So let's say it was his weapon of choice was a knife. So needless to say, don't piss me off. I have exactly. But no,
Jeff and I have had some conversations on that too. So yeah.
Well, Jeff, she's talking about Jeff Mudgett. We had a conversation. He sent me a message about 3 years ago. There was this show opportunity.
I'm gonna let him know which Jeff you're talking
Jeff
about.
Mudgett.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys if you don't know, Jeff Mudgett is the great grandson of Herman Webster Mudgett, who is H.H. Holmes, the American Ripper.
Right.
So Jeff contacted me and said, "Hey, I would like to do."
Interesting family. Stay away from them.
Andy's going.
Family. Come on.
Say just keep in mind, I will never ever commit suicide, but I might perform homicide at some point.
You never know.
So, but he told me, he goes, there's a show opportunity. I think you'd be good at it. And he goes, I never lived with my serial killer family, but you did. And I mean, and I did. My grandfather treated me like I was gold. Mm-hmm. I was his oldest granddaughter, or I was his oldest grandchild, period. And he treated me very special, never hurt me, never hurt my sisters or my mom. But I told him, I said, I would love to be on this show, but I don't think my family is ready for that kind of information to come out all over the world,
But it never happened anyway.
No, it never came back. I mean, I told him no to begin with. I don't know if it ever happened or not.
Well, I'm sure he had other ones.
So, but yeah, I just thought that was nice that he thought of me. I hope we can run into him when we're in Vegas in a few weeks. I don't know.
Yeah, you told me you guys were going out there to see him. I'm so excited that you get to go, because right after you guys is when I'm going to go out there and harass him for a good week or two. I'm not sure yet, but yeah. You said the sweetheart.
The only bad thing is the room rates have gone way up.
Yep. Yeah.
Out there. But, we didn't see him the last couple times we went because it was all family based.
I think he was out of town.
He was out of town for one of them.
Something.
Yeah. Yep.
Now are you guys going to drive out to Vegas with these fuel prices?
We'll be out there the week before taxes are due.
Yep.
So like the 11th or so. But Tim, if you really want to know the real dates, you'll message me and I'll tell you. But I'm not going to say exactly when we're on here.
Not here.
No, not here. No.
Pretty much did.
No, not the whole time. One day is not going to give them any. Nobody knows where we live.
I gave you a heads up. There's nothing to steal.
The leak in the roof took care of that.
Yeah, give y'all a heads up too. I'm watching over their house, so I'm remotely doing that. So you ain't going to be doing nothing.
That's right.
I mean, all the important stuff goes with us. Anyway,
right.
I take my computers on the road with me because
I'm
always
my
working.
Kitty cat.
But if you want 4 cats,
don't
you break in, take our cats.
No, not Kiki.
Just give them catnip. They'll follow you wherever you
No,
go.
they won't. They get pissed.
No, not those cats won't.
Man,
It's treats.
I got one I can't give catnip to. She'll act all happy and everything,
She's
and
a
then
mean
she's
drunk.
just mean.
She's a mean
I mean,
drunk.
she'll go around just pow,
And she's
Wow.
just smack the other cats for no reason.
There's this one video I watch sometimes. It's on TikTok. Sometimes it's there and sometimes it's on Instagram. But this cat is like sitting on a shelving and it's waiting for people to go by and it goes to each person that goes by. And every time it does that, whoever has moderated the whole thing and put this thing together, they have the voice going on. And it's like, what are you doing here? It's just so funny.
Mhm.
Cats can be so funny.
Well, I'll tell you, this cat never climbs on my lap unless we're on this show.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's true.
She doesn't do it on my show.
She knows when the
No.
camera's on and it's
Oh yeah.
time for her to show
That's what
off.
I got. Even mine, Theodore and Wild Thing. Theodore's a big orange cat. Wild Thing is like a tabby. She's like, they're usually down here, and they were earlier before I came and set everything up to get on here. But Theodore always has to walk across my computer no matter what. He's always got to make himself known, and then eventually he'll come around and he'll come right in front of this camera.
Yeah. When I work, I don't have the laptop open.
Yeah.
Because I have two huge monitors on either side of this.
Mhm.
And this is my work computer, so it's much better than my own.
So that's
You
your
better
phone.
take it.
Huh?
Yeah, you better take it. You never know.
No.
Yeah, it's
It was Citigroup. I don't have a credit card.
Oh, yeah, no kidding.
So
Jesus.
if I don't have a credit card, I don't need to answer.
Yeah, right?
That's right.
You didn't pay your bill.
Oh, darn. Again?
The
Oh,
scammer.
it could be all that
scammer.
stuff sitting in customs waiting for me to
Ah.
call them to give them my
I know,
credit
right?
card number
You
so they
gotta-
can release it.
Well, but wait, you have to go out and buy iTunes cards to get it released, okay?
Is it iTunes cards?
iTunes cards, or you got to have like a
Amazon.
money transfer, or they want your Cash App information so they can put money on your card so that you can send them money back,
Yeah.
Right.
No.
just so they can have all your information, right?
Mhm.
Right.
They don't get shit from me.
No.
The last time somebody called me for that, you're going to die laughing. I told them they called in on a police hotline.
Oh.
Took them 2 seconds to get off the phone.
Oh, yeah.
That's about what I do. I sit there and go, just a second. My boss wants to talk to you.
You're
I
right.
wait for a second. I get on there and go, this is Sheriff Allen. Can I help you?
Right, exactly.
Hello? Hello?
I
Works
think
every time.
I obtained my idea. It was not of my own, but I got it from some guy that, another video that's out there. It's really cool. You have to Google it, where this guy is talking to a scammer, and he literally convinces. I mean, I almost fell for it too. It was so convincing that he was an officer, and he had talked to this guy, and he said, he called, this scammer calls in, and he's like, hi, I'm so-and-so from so-and-so. And he said, sir, can I interrupt you for just a moment, please? I do need to inform you of your rights. You do have to understand that everything you are saying right now can be held against you in a court of law, and you are definitely being recorded. You have called into a crime scene, a murder scene. So therefore, now we do have your telephone number. And as we speak, you are being pulled up on our computer, so we do know where you're calling from and your location, and you will have police officers at your door at any minute now. Oh, he went on so perfect. He was so perfect. I was like, damn, I'm going to use that.
That's
Well,
a
now
good
that I
one.
have credibility in it, I suppose I probably could, but
Well, what's funny
That
is
is
I've
good.
been getting fraud calls here on my computer.
oh God.
Not through Skype, but through the Teams app. So,
Oh,
because we use Teams for work, so my phone number is, automatic call dialers. Guess what? I work for the telephone company. I know what automatic call dialers do.
oh,
And I know that
definitely.
they're just randomly finding me. I know they don't know my name.
Right.
And so, I got like 6 calls today that I blocked through the Teams app going, okay, this isn't nobody I work for. But because I work for the entire company,
Mm-hmm.
I can get calls from
Anywhere.
anywhere in the
Yeah.
world at any time. So I kind of have to answer every call that comes to my computer.
Oh, sure you do.
So once I find out it's a scam call, then I can turn it off. But you know, on Teams app, you don't get a caller ID unless it's somebody internal,
Mm-hmm.
which sucks. But it is what it is. You know,
Yeah.
Microsoft is a pain in the ass, but again, it's what we have.
Charlie!
Charlie.
Charlie's
Charlie's in tonight.
Charlie was on here last week.
Yep.
I'm going to tell you a story now that you bring up Charlie. This is crazy. You know that every time I'm on a show or I'm having an event or talking anything paranormal or doing anything of the sort paranormal, that the name Charlie always comes up. Back in the day, in the 80s, I was married, my first marriage. Mark was my second. And not everybody knows that, but who cares? You can know now. But
Right.
during that time, we had traveled from Lincoln, Nebraska to Colorado to live for 10 years. And Jesse had a ghost. My ex-husband had a ghost. And it followed him wherever he went. And it followed us to Colorado. And in the night, the first experience I had with Charlie was I woke up in the middle of the night and the washer was going automatically on its own. And then the second time, my sister had come up to visit with her son, Jesse, her little son, Jesse, and they were sleeping. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a tennis ball goes flying down the hallway and leaves a major dent in the doorway. It went straight down the hall, right into Joni's door, and left a dent, a huge dent. Now this is what I'm building up to is the backstory behind this, so you get the full story. But now here's the truth of the whole matter. I had this flu that kept me on the couch for over a week, and Joni and I were sitting there watching TV, and I was high temperatured and was totally ill. And Joni turns on the TV, and the TV jumps from every freaking channel and stops on a dime the minute you hear the name Charlie. It rotated through probably a good 20 channels, and every time it stopped, you would hear the name Charlie. It was Firestarter. It was Charlie Tuna. It was Charlie whatever. Charlie for like 20 freaking times. And then finally it stops, and I'm looking up at Joni, and I'm having this fever going on, and I'm thinking I'm hallucinating this crap. And she's like, holy shit. So she goes and jumps up, and she's like, you know, she was going to go wake up Jesse because he was an electronic technician, thinking that he could figure out why the remote control was doing that, or where was this coming from. Come to find out, Jesse got up and looked at everything. He said, well, it could be somebody from like next door might have the same remote. Well, the next day we find out nobody else has the same remote around the cul-de-sac where we lived or within a block away. So that Charlie thing, that sparked my conversation with telling you that story.
Well, this is Charles Fort that's in the chat room is the Charlie you met at Malvern Manor.
Yeah.
He's alive.
Yeah. I know.
Still,
I know, but every
Well,
time Charlie comes up, it has something to do with paranormal. I swear.
Well,
So
in this
Charlie's
case, it
in the
does.
chat room, and he's here listening to paranormal. So there you go.
Yeah, he shares a show with David Glidden at 8 o'clock.
Oh yeah, I remember. Sure.
Yeah.
I think didn't they interview Jeff Mudgett at one time?
I know David Glidden did. Did you?
Yeah.
Did you, Charlie? Did you guys interview? I think they did. I don't think it was that long ago.
Yeah.
So I haven't interviewed Jeff yet, and I really do need to do that.
Yeah, you do.
But I want to do it when we got video,
Mm-hmm.
because we're going to be going to video real soon on Cats Network. So
Have you decided when yet?
no, not yet.
yeah, when are you going to do that?
I don't know, but we got to figure out how to get my green screen.
You'll have to wear clothes for your show now.
Yeah, I'll have to
She
tell
usually
everybody.
does it naked.
No.
Yeah.
But I do always tell everybody, everybody likes the facts that they don't have to get, they don't have to wear their bra. They don't have to do their makeup.
Right.
They don't,
Right.
I tell them it's a bra-free zone.
All you got to
have-
do when you get your green screen up is wear a green blouse, and then it'll be the floating head across there.
BMAX headroom.
I don't
kinda.
think she has anything green.
Yes, I do.
All purple.
No, I have a green shirt that I have.
Really?
My ID for work is a green shirt.
Yeah, you didn't go and buy one.
I did. It's
You don't have a logo on it, do you?
Huh?
Don't have a logo, do you, on your shirt?
No, I never.
See, there's what happens when you do green on a green screen.
Yeah.
That's a green glass.
I just, I don't ever wear logos on my clothes unless I'm trying to promote somebody's stuff that I care about.
Yeah, sure.
I don't want to wear a Nike shirt.
Yeah.
I don't support Nike. I don't want to have, I don't want to have Coke on my clothes or, I do have some Under Armour things, but it doesn't say Under Armour. It's a little logo. And so it's just me. Now I wear my McPike jacket. I'll wear that. I just don't. There has to be a reason for me to be promoting what I'm wearing.
Right.
And so if I found this really cute sweatshirt the other day, purple, tie-dye, really cute, had the Simpsons on it. And it's like, another one I found that was very similar, had the Lakers on it. Well, I'm definitely not promoting the Lakers. I can care less. So
I bought a couple of shirts. You're going to be happy to hear this from Graham Allen's. Some of his stuff. I love Graham Allen. Are you having a hard time with that?
I don't know who Graham Allen is.
Patriot. He supports Trump.
Oh, okay.
Time. So I ordered some stuff from him because I just love Graham Allen. Maybe you don't. Well, if you don't know who he is, he's on Instagram. Go look him up. He's huge. Trump and him do a lot of things together. Yeah, he's real cool guy.
Yeah,
real nice man.
One of my favorite logos to wear is Live PD.
Mm-hmm.
I have this lovely shirt that I wear that says, "These aren't my pants." Live PD.
Oh. Yeah.
When we were down in Springfield, you remember when they came back on doing Springfield, they had this huge party down there, and we went. I stood in line all night long. Me and Susan and Mike and Ron, and the first thing they had on, they were showing. First thing that came up was in the show. It was this lady in Springfield, and her pants were falling off, and she had shit in her pants. She had stuff in her pants that wasn't supposed to be hers. And I said, even before anybody else, I said, "Those aren't her pants." And this happened like 6 times that night. So Susan went out and she bought me that shirt that said, "These aren't my pants."
Oh my God.
And so needless to say, I have a good memory of that. And that's also, the picture of me with the sheriff is the sheriff of Pinal County. I love him. He is the sweetest guy, but you don't want to piss him off and don't cross the border in his county. You're going to go to jail.
Yeah. I have a few of those in certain towns that I go to too that do that. Yeah.
But I tell you, that was an experience. Being there for the Live PD watch party was so much fun. I didn't have a voice after that. Bad part is the next day, I'm walking through the parking lot of our hotel and I fall and hurt myself.
Oh, Jesus.
And then that was the last call. That day was the last phone call I got from Ken Deal before he passed.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I remember all that really clearly because of all the different things that happened. And we had dinner with Ken and Farrah the night before. No, it was the week before. It was 2 weeks before we had dinner with them.
Right.
Yeah.
What really devastated me? The passing of Christopher Sutton.
He wasn't the one I expected.
That was fast because he had just got fitted for his port
a week before.
Yeah, like a week before to start his chemo.
And
I usually don't do that
Well, you heard his message to Ron.
Yeah, I
how
did.
bad it sounded. But the thing was, is he got sick in May, and I'm not saying it's directly COVID related
Mhm.
or shot related, but he was at that time fully vaccinated. But I think that there was stuff going on prior to all this, and he just didn't go to the doctor and he ignored it. Because I knew him well enough to know that he wouldn't go to the doctor if he didn't have to go.
Let me tell
Right.
you something. What I'm seeing in his blood right now is a lot of clotting, and that has me concerned. I did not know that. I did not know that he was fully vaccinated.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody ever told me that, but what I'm seeing right now is there was some clotting going on in his bloodstream.
Go look at his. I think his picture actually has on there that he's vaccinated. But yeah, he had told me he was fully vaccinated.
You know, I didn't even know, honest to God.
Yeah. Well, you know, we've been friends. We're friends with him since longer than I had Facebook. Okay.
Yeah.
So we met him in 2009 at McPike Mansion. And so we were together a lot, and we were supposed to investigate together. Do you know we never investigated together? Ever.
Are you serious?
No, we were together a lot, but
Wow,
but Sharon always made me work.
we were at McPike.
Yeah, we were
In the cellar
together
a lot.
and we were in the cellar a lot, but we never got to investigate. And so we were supposed to investigate together in Marshalltown.
Yeah,
Right,
he was
you know,
supposed to come
before he
up.
died. He was
Mhm.
supposed to be there, and he was the one we were supposed to be with to investigate. And he called me on our way up to Marshalltown and told me, don't tell anybody.
Oh,
I'm like,
Mom.
okay. I didn't know what I wasn't telling anybody.
Right.
He thought he had told me that he had cancer.
Oh, yeah.
And he didn't know that he hadn't told me. And so I didn't ask questions. I just said, okay, I won't. And he goes, but just tell everybody that, you know, I wish I could be there.
Mhm.
So, like I said, from all that he
Yeah.
said, I could tell he did not, he thought he told me, but he didn't. And
Oh my gosh.
so, but again, we also heard his message to Ron where he sounded
Yeah, and I said
winded.
he won't be up there.
Oh, I knew he wouldn't be up there.
He's too sick.
So, but
I had a lovely time with him and I think Forsyth. What was can't think of his name.
Wes
They
Forsyth.
Yeah, Wes. So they came up to the Farrar. I think that was like in 2000. I want to say 18.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they hung out up there and we all investigated. Huh?
He talked about Farrar Schoolhouse all the
No, he
time.
loved it.
Every
We
time I
had-
turned around.
We had such a wonderful time. We had captured a lot, but the Farrar is good for that on the right kind of day with the right kind of people.
Right.
And
His whole theory was that whatever it was outside.
you know what? Let me tell you something. I have pictures of a lot on those grounds, and we all know, being paranormal investigators that are true to heart, true to the way of doing things, that the majority of everything's obviously in the ground. We're all buried in the ground, or we're scattered, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I can validate that. We've seen a lot on the property. A lot of what I got when I was there, and I think we did 40 plus, 50 plus events there.
Yeah.
And every time we did it, you know, everything was filmed, and I captured a picture of a dog running through the grounds in the back, and a little boy that we spoke to in the boiler room, which I call the broiler room, because I'm the one that came out with the whole thing with Jim and Nancy about it being haunted, and there was a demonic presence in that boiler room. So I call it the boiler room because it is hell. So I captured a picture of a little boy walking with braces on his legs outside, out in the back. He used to play baseball back there, and you know, he was very much a little kid that was very passionate about baseball. And one time when we were down there investigating in the boiler room, I was talking to that little boy down there, and he had literally, we have film footage of this where he actually possessed one of the people that were there. And he talked about his mom. He talked about the school, about things through a woman that had been taken over by his spirit. And he came out of her mouth and explained how and what they did for a living on that property, like right behind the Ferrari in that cornfield area.
Yeah.
And he talked about how he died through her mouth. He spoke about what he was wearing through her mouth speech. And he talked all about his childhood and how he died, which was because of, I wanted to say, I believe it was muscular dystrophy or something.
Yeah.
And he had bad legs and such. He died from that. And so, yeah, I believe a lot of it comes from outside. But I do want to tell you that the day I realized I couldn't go back ever again, which I haven't since, is the day that, or the night that JD and I and Jim Beck and I and JD Campbell, it was just us three.
Yes, Sandy, the school is closed now. It's open. It's open as a paranormal investigation
been
location
closed for a while.
and event center.
So, going to that story, Jim and I and JD were there alone, and it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I kept saying, "Let's go upstairs." I'm really being pulled to this particular room, which it would be second level, and on the left side, I'm not sure which room it is. It's the first one, but I was pulled into there, and immediately when I walked into there, I saw the satanic circle on the floor. I also described a group that had came in there and did practicing of satanic shit in that building. And
That's
then
a technical term for it too. Satanic shit.
Yeah.
And so the minute I saw it happening right before my eyes, Jim was coming up behind me with a camera, and he was filming the whole thing. And everything I did was on film to not only show the viewers what I did, but also so they could hear the audio that I could speak before it came out in audio, so that they knew that it was a validation of what I was saying. But as I went in that room, I was talking all this stuff about what I was seeing. And I described the paranormal group to a frickin' T. I could see them individually sitting in the circle in that frickin' room. And I described them to a T. And then all of a sudden, and I mean, Jim Beck can actually validate this story, but Jim was like, holy shit. He turns around as I'm describing the group, and I'm down to that last person. And would you believe it? There was a picture of that group up on that wall where everybody pins up their name or their card or whatever.
Yeah.
For being there, kind of thing. And I've never been in that. I had never been in that room. And Jim and JD knew that, and they were like, oh my God. So that was like one of the rooms I never really even went in, because I was always in the auditorium, or I was always in, Mrs. What's her name's room upstairs, or I was always in the, I was always somewhere else. But that was one room. I don't know, maybe I was not supposed to go there until the last time I was there. But that was the last time I went there. I didn't like the fact that there was practices going on in there, and certain people knew that and thought it was okay. It's no wonder there's so much effed up stuff.
Yeah, that's probably one of those wrong groups got in there, and
I made it very. How do I want to say this? I made it very aware to certain people that's what happened, and I don't know if people were spoke to about it, but I do know that they were never returning again. Later on, I heard about that. So
yeah,
and Sandy Griffin, Pottstown is still open for paranormal investigation. Now, Pottstown, I don't know about that one because I never heard of that one. But Pottstown is they're still doing investigations there through
where's that at?
Pennsylvania.
Oh,
yeah.
So
yeah. So I want to go back really super bad because I'm looking forward to going, and seeing Lori from in California because she sold her house. You know, she lost her husband to suicide, so she sold her home in Wyoming and is on the way going, you know, to her mom in California. But I'm so excited to go back to Alcatraz.
That's one of the few places in California I'd like to go. I'd like.
Well, let me tell you something.
If they could just drop me down in there, so I didn't have to see San Francisco
or California.
Yeah.
Well, I'm telling you what. Here's something to consider. But I'm thinking like about like June when it's not so hot, or like September. I know that there's only a cutoff time, and I can't recall what it is for the tour to go in, because you can't just go in and do you can, but you can't just rent it. I mean, it's a lot of money.
Yeah,
a lot. So I go in on a tour, and then
the only way to do some of this stuff is to go in on a random tour.
Mm-hmm.
And they tell you that if you're looking for to investigate, they don't mind that you do. You know, they don't mind. So when I was there the last time, I was walking past, and this is on audio too, then I love this, and it was even on film. I was walking past the dude that did the, you know, the messages with the little bird, the bird guy.
Yeah.
Birdman.
Alcatraz.
Oh my God. I'm serious. Like, I'm walking past his cell and I hear him say, "Stick her." Okay. So I hear it and I stop, and I'm being filmed. I turn around and I said, "You're not sticking me today, nor any day are you going to be sticking me." And we kept walking because I wanted to go further down the line with everybody else. And then later that night, when we got back to the motel, we replayed all that, and you can hear him clear as day. "Stick her, stick her." I'm like, damn, not today, you're not.
Have you been to Missouri State, Penn?
I'm going there pretty darn soon.
Oh, okay.
Can't really talk about it, but yeah, that's coming up.
I want to go back there when it's not 115.
I
got heat illness there.
Girl, when I go to Alcatraz, so I'll let you know ahead of time, in case you guys.
Yeah, the roof took care of any extra trips right now.
True.
So,
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And we're also we're planning a trip someplace to surprise someone, just in case they're listening.
Yeah.
So I can't say who, but we're planning a trip, hopefully in June or July, someplace to surprise somebody.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's real cool.
Yeah.
I've done that. That's fun. That's really fun. When
Yeah,
you can meet
you know how that goes. You surprise somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure did. Oh my God, his face was so priceless too when that happened. He was like, "Is that true?" He did a couple of double takes. I'm like, he wasn't really sure if that was me or not.
Well, I'm thinking some of these people, what would they be doing? Like, oh no.
The thing is only one of them.
Because when I saw him, who did I see? I saw my friend Mike. Now he lives right around there.
Yeah, just down the road.
And that wasn't that big a surprise to maybe run into him. That's very possible. But then when I saw everybody, I'm like, oh no. They got me.
I'm good at this stuff.
She was really good. She
messaged cousins and you and
Frank.
Yeah.
She was really good with hiding it, though. She made sure that she told people, "Don't say anything."
Right.
Oh, it was so hard.
Yeah,
it was
I knew.
Really hard not to say anything, you know, because, oh God,
I knew 2 weeks before it was going to happen.
And I talked about it on the show too. But you were on.
Frank, that morning, Frank kept calling. He says, "Yeah, we're here." And then he called another hour later. "Oh, we're here." And I said, "Where's he at?" And she goes, "Oh, he's Southern Missouri. They camped out or something."
They did.
And then and then about a couple hours later, he calls back, and Denise says, oh, Frank and Teresa want to meet for dinner at Golden Corral, and I'm like, why
You're like,
Golden Corral? We'll find a
right?
better place than that. She goes, no, they don't have them where they live.
They really like them.
They really like them. I'm like, really?
That's
Okay,
so
that's-
wrong.
But she didn't.
And I'm
Teresa-
trying to talk them out of going to Golden Corral. I was like, hey, let's go here or there or get some pizza or something. They're like, no, I think Golden Corral sounds really good. And I'm like, okay.
So I'm going to warn you, I'm down on 2% on my battery on my phone.
Okay. Well, you know what? In case we lose you, tell everybody where they can find you.
Right.
Oh, they can find me on Facebook at Cheryl Ann Elliott Fletcher. They can find me there. They can also just go over to Instagram and find me on Cheryl Ann's fan page is over there. Or they can just simply reach out and use their phone and call me or text me on 402-217-6334.
But be considerate and don't call at 3 a.m.
Yeah, I do sleep sometimes, but I usually go to bed about 11 or 12 at the latest.
So
And I'm up around 7:30 at the latest in the morning. But if people need to text me and they have questions or they want to know about something, they're certainly welcome to text me. But just remember and be courteous about the fact that, well, I wouldn't text you at 2 in the morning.
yeah.
We need to get her down to the cemetery.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not
Maybe
that
she
far
can
from-
talk to the unknown Indian and we can find the true story.
Who knows?
Hey,
But Cheryl
that's,
Ann, you
that's
have
a
a question?
plan.
Well, we'll
Huh?
tell you in
Yeah.
a second. There's a question for you. It says,
Okay.
Cheryl Ann, are you going to the Missouri State Pen as a special event or on your own?
It will be an on my own deal.
So check
Mhm.
if guys, if you get a chance to check out the Missouri State Pen, go, but don't do it in one of those huge events that are sponsored by whomever. Do
No.
the tours through the
Yeah.
Missouri State Pen.
Right.
There
Yeah,
is-
I
3-hour one, 3 or 4 hour ones.
or the 5-hour.
Yeah.
I gave that up the last time I went to one, and it was in Iowa, and I'll never, ever go to another event as long as I live for that specific reason because, well, there's groups in the world that are organized, and then there are the ones
Right.
that want to, and I'm just like, you know what, I'm so over it. If you don't know what you're doing, please don't invite me.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know which ones.
So basically, I'm saying don't do
Mhm.
Ghost Hunts weekend. Don't do
Yeah.
haunted
We're-
rooms or anything like that. Just go to the Missouri
yeah,
State
we
Pen's
don't
website.
we don't want to mention River Bend Paranormal as far as being unorganized,
Right.
unprofessional, but
We've seen.
Never.
We've
River
seen
Bend Paranormal is one you don't
Yeah.
want to be around.
Right? Well, you know what? If you're going to call it out, call it out. I mean, there's people that need to know this stuff because even
It
like,
sucks.
and by the way, my phone is plugged in and it's charging, thank God. So, there's groups out there that if anybody ever asked me, Cheryl, who would you run with and who would not run with if they employed you like I have been employed to do investigative work with teams that have come in and they call me up and say, hey, do you want to, be the lead psychic on this deal tonight? And that happens. But there are ones that have asked me after the fact and after I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? You don't know where I'm staying. You don't know what what you're having to eat. You're not even catering to your people or what you're not doing when it comes to the right equipment. You don't know, I mean, I could go on.
Oh yeah.
Well, how about answering the question when somebody asks, rather
Right.
than
Yeah.
just go over there and figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Seriously,
I've never done that to anyone in any investigation.
they left us. They
That I
left.
was
They
involved
left
in.
everyone high and dry. We weren't even there. They were with us maybe a half hour, and they said we got to go get our drink on.
Oh, I've been to some that I would be
See you later.
heading a group, right? And doing my thing with this group. And I come back to find or switch out groups with the other people. And oh no, they're all outside drinking or, they're doing whatever they want to do. And some even like some of the people that are holding the event got tired and went home.
That's kind of what we had. We got, we did one floor, then the second floor, and we were on the second. Well, the second floor was in the basement. We were with Ty and Chris at this point. And as we were coming up from the basement,
he took over.
No, when we were coming up from the basement, we hear them talking to the lead people saying, "Yeah, we got to leave.
Yeah,
we've been here too long." And it's like, I'm like,
what?
We've been here all day too, but we paid $35 to investigate and have somebody lead us. We ended up with somebody who had paid their $35 too, that used to be a tour guide there.
Yeah, he led the thing.
Yeah,
the rest of the night, which it probably worked out better anyway.
Yeah,
at least he would answer questions and actually talk rather than sit there and look like a deadbeat.
So
going, oh, I don't know.
But like Dara says, she goes, "Oh my God, Riverbend sucked.
Yeah,
they were the worst tour guides ever. Just left us to ourselves
she was there with us.
Without even telling us." That was the thing. They didn't even tell us.
Left.
This is so you guys know. This is Rochelle and Brian Murray from Ghost Hunters.
I believe it.
Really?
On TV that left us.
Let me tell you.
They were just two of the clowns that were at that.
Well, imagine this: that you pay. Listen, imagine this: that there's people that I know that have paid $150 for a ticket for an event.
Wow!
And they get there. Hold on, and they get there. One, the T-shirts and things they were supposed to get with all this money that they paid in, all of a sudden just disappeared.
Right.
Or they never made it in, or whatever. And this was, let me tell you, this is a high-profile group off TV, and they didn't have their T-shirts, and then all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, because they were stolen. My ass, they were not. You never even got them. You never ordered them in. You never sent them.
Right.
Period. And then, of course, here's how it goes down. You get to go to these places with this two people, and you're going to a place, and then all of a sudden you find out that the place that you went to go see and go walk through, you can't even get in because it's under different ownership.
Yeah. Wow.
And you make all this time on the travel arrangements, and you put money into a ticket, or somebody buys it for you as a guest.
Yeah.
And you find out half the crap that they promise you. It doesn't happen.
No.
So it's all about money, man. I tell you what, whenever I have events, I give out more than what people pay for.
Yeah.
Because you know what? That's the way it should be. That's integrity.
Well, that's just like when I helped Ron and Denise up at the Sally house for a year up there. We gave those people plenty to talk about in there. Oh, we had a blast.
Yeah, they got more than their money's worth.
Oh, yeah. We always took groups. There
fun
was
doing
groups. My partner, the Pastor Gary down there, is on our paranormal team, my co-founder.
Yeah.
He'd be upstairs with a group and everything with somebody. Me and Ron be downstairs in the basement and have echo boxes. This is when we found out.
Oh, yeah.
We found out echo boxes had duels.
Yeah.
They would start talking to each other back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we had a blast with it.
Oh, yeah. And I would give everybody a good overview of everything that they needed to know about the history of the house when they came in.
Yeah, we never
put
a time limit on anybody. We didn't say you can only be down here 10 minutes or what. Just stay as long as you want.
And look at when Cassidy came up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she took them everywhere, all over the house. My granddaughter.
Oh, that's so
everything.
cool.
She had watched Denise do it enough. She had it down.
Yeah, she watched her twice.
Been there forever.
Yeah, she mimicked me completely.
And Denise just turned her loose because you had a baby with you at that time, didn't you?
Yeah.
Watching a baby in there?
Yeah, somebody brought their baby that they wanted to
use. Brought a baby into the Sally house. They was going to use it as a trigger object.
Right.
And I was like, no way. So I kept him with me, and that was the day that you had been on the tour with them out at the graveyard too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we had done everything that day. He did a graveyard tour. I did a walking tour. And we showed up at the Sally house and did that tour. But again, nobody ever knew how tired we were because we still kept going.
Oh yeah.
Regardless.
And see, even when I go on these events and I'm contracted in to go, even when it's all said and done, everybody's like tired and they're ready. Some are still up walking around, doing stuff. And I will sit with people and just talk.
Mm-hmm. Like I said,
I don't read. I don't read
thing
people.
I miss about doing that was I don't miss the Sally House, but I miss hanging with the people.
Yeah, that was
that
fun.
came in there.
Yeah,
And that's the best part.
Yeah, when you're running 200 to 300 people through there in 4 hours.
right. You meet people from everywhere, every walk of life. I mean, some believe, some don't. I mean,
well, look at the time I
coming in
was
here to
downstairs.
find out.
I was downstairs in the basement with a whole group of them there, had the echo box going. This one couple walked in, man and a woman. She was white, he was black. And I could tell he wasn't from the United States and everything. So we'd been doing where the echo box, can you say so-and-so's name over here or this and that? And they're listening. And this girl goes, oh, there's no way it'll say his first name.
Right, because
he's from Africa.
He was Nigerian, yeah.
Boom, it said his name. And she went like that. Right. And she goes, it'll never say his last name. And everybody's in there listening to the echo box.
It took a while.
All of a sudden, it took a few minutes and everything.
You have to look that up.
And I said, well, maybe they don't know his last name.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it said his last name.
Isn't that crazy cool? That has got to be the best. That's
he was laughing.
Oh, he was.
I don't know if it was his wife or girlfriend. She freaked out. She's like,
she freaked out. He's just laughing. Everybody down there is just having a blast. And I mean, we had 20 people in that basement.
At least, yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's looking around like, how did you do that? I was like, we didn't do anything. We don't know the guy. We don't know his name. Even if we knew it, we couldn't have pronounced it.
We don't see who bought tickets.
Yeah, that's unique. That's really unique.
Yeah, all they would ever do is tell us, we sold this, we sold out or whatever. And they would just tell us about how many tickets. And then we would take their ticket, look at it, make sure it was for the day, and then here you can keep it,
Right.
But it was one of the things that was really funny about doing tours was the people from Texas. Their son was on Benedictine's football team, and it was parents' weekend.
Oh,
yeah.
And they brought their son to the Sally House. And the Sally House wasn't open at the time, but they dared their young son, his Cameron, he's 12. Dared him to come up and knock on the door and ask if Sally was there.
Yeah.
And so they weren't expecting anybody to answer the door. So they knock on the door and I open the door and I go, hi, can I help you? And he goes, is Sally here? And I said, no, but do you want to come in and look around? And, they didn't buy tickets or anything like that. This was just basically like community outreach.
Yeah.
And I motioned for the rest of the family to come in. Found out that their mother had a stroke and she was recovering from one. She wasn't even 40. Okay. And she tells me this whole story. And
this kind of cigar smoke.
I'll have to I'll get to you, Gary. So needless to say, it was one of those strange things that I'm still friends with these people to this day. Yeah. We took him through the house, and every time he has a birthday, I tell him Sally said happy birthday.
Oh, that's so nice.
But he thinks of me as Sally, even though his mom knows my name's Denise.
Oh,
and then that's the stuff that I miss from doing the Sally House. We've been to Atchison once since 2017. We're going in May to the McIntyre Villa, and we only went to the McIntyre Villa one time the entire time that we did tours in Atchison.
Yeah, like Carl was saying, I was usually downstairs in the basement. That's where the biggest activity was. But I like the parts when sometimes you'd walk in that house and it just feels like a regular old house.
Yeah.
With nothing really going on. There's other times you're like, okay, we're gonna have a long day.
Yeah.
You'd be down in the basement and there were times where nothing was going on. Completely dead, absolutely nothing going on. You get a bunch of people come down there, and then all of a sudden you hear, hey, my camera's not working. Hey, my phone just went dead. I mean,
Yeah.
one after another, and then you kind of look around, sit back in the corner, and just watch all the action happen.
Uh-huh.
Heck yeah,
It got
that's
crazy
bad.
because I knew what was coming. I didn't say anything to anyone else. That's when it got crazy.
Oh yeah.
And I just, we just kind of
Just like their light on their,
so many
their
times.
picture, their brightens up dull.
Yep.
And I don't know why it does that. It's not plugged into my computer. It's plugged directly into the wall.
Yeah, it's dark. I mean,
but no, this
dark
does it
outside.
every week. It does
It does it on this show.
Yeah, I know.
And I've changed out the lights, all kinds of stuff, and it still does that. So there's
You
nothing
have
I
a
can
lot of
do.
energy. If there's a lot of energy going on, that's why.
So
You have
Gary,
energy surging.
so Gary, his name is John. This guy that's at your house, and he's very large. He's got a stubbly face, and he's really cranky. So don't
Who
piss
is
him
this?
off.
I know.
I don't know who.
You know
he
who
is.
John is?
That's
Does
Pastor Gary.
Does
Yeah.
Gary might know who this John is, or maybe somebody?
He's not related to his house. I think he's
Okay.
related to Hamilton.
Could be.
Hmm.
But no,
He's a
Cheryl was
drinker.
telling you.
Boy, he's a drinker, though. Whew.
I just think cranky.
Yeah,
No,
he's
he's
a
telling you
drinker.
about our cemetery down
Oh,
here where we live
Hey,
at,
Cheryl, I
right?
might know.
There's a
Yeah.
grave and the headstone says unknown Indian. And there's the family. Well, actually, my great grandfather started the cemetery. We
Huh.
found out. But down
That's
there,
a baby.
down
That's a
there,
baby.
huh?
It's a baby.
It's a baby.
It's a baby.
Hmm.
A little baby. Like I want to say like a stillborn birth. That's a baby.
There's probably,
Hmm.
you know what? She's probably picking up something from one of those mounds out there.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, we need to take you to that mountain.
Yeah, this here, because Denise has been down there several times, but she's seen the Indians in the timber watching us.
Right.
Hmm.
Okay. Another guy seen the battalion
That was the
of
Yeah,
soldiers down in the field. The
Yeah.
sheriff's department won't even go out there because they have seen soldiers on horseback
Yeah.
several times. The sheriff's department will tell you if there's a murder out there at night, we're not showing up until daytime.
Right. Denise, let me know when you guys can go down there. You know, like if, for an example, for me would be May.
Okay.
Oh, it's going to be.
Anytime-
We
have
take
to
care.
make
We
sure-
take care of the cemetery. It's in our names.
Yeah.
Down
It's-
there.
Yeah,
it's-
we usually
take
do
care
a
of it.
camp out.
Yeah, we do a camp out down there.
Oh, I would love to go to that.
Yeah, we just have to be cognizant of rattlesnakes
Yeah.
Mhm.
at certain times.
You're gonna be
And-
out
Usually
in
do
an
it
area.
October, but-
There is no
Primitive?
house within.
Primitive? Yeah.
There's no house within 3 miles.
Okay.
We don't see
And to
each
give
other.
you an idea, you're on top of a hill
Hmm.
here in Missouri. If you go 3 miles east as the crow flies, right,
Hmm.
is where the Hans Mill massacre happened.
Nice. Ooh.
Okay. If you go
Ooh.
3 miles south
previous
Mhm.
owner.
from there, you heard of the Dimmel brothers from
Oh my
Wisconsin.
God.
They got murdered on the cattle ranch
And putting
Yeah.
barrels.
3 miles
Yeah.
south.
In the barrels. Yeah.
Yeah. That farm is 3 miles south of this cemetery.
You guys, when are you doing this again?
We don't
We can
know.
do it anytime.
We'll let you know.
I'll let
Whenever
you know.
whenever you're down around Cameron, Missouri.
Yeah. No,
I
I
mean-
would travel. Denise knows I would travel to come to that. If you were to think about possibly doing something in May,
Yeah.
would work
we
for
can
me. Yeah, May is a better month because it's not a whole lot's going on.
Right.
For
Yeah.
me, I don't know about your guys' schedules, but yeah.
We've
That
got
would
Ours
really
is
be-
open. We mow it and take care of it. And
Yeah.
I don't think we have anything.
The
to give you an
second-
idea
yeah,
of what it
second week
is,
in May we got
Yeah, May 14th,
gotta
we
go
have
there.
something, but
Right.
other than that, we don't.
there's supposed to
Oh,
be
heck, you know I would travel down there for this. Of
Oh,
course.
it's
I
not-
mean,
it's
Okay.
not that far from you.
It's just south of,
Not
of
too
the
far.
Iowa
Yeah,
State.
that's true. What you're seeing, the picture behind us on the deal, that was taken at that cemetery.
I love that. That's so neat.
And
Wow.
we have a picture. I don't know if I got it in the brand or not.
Nope, not the first weekend. That's Derby
Yeah,
weekend.
that's Kentucky Derby weekend, second
So
weekend.
try the third weekend because that's even better for me in the third weekend of that month.
That's possible.
Yeah, because the last weekend of that month is our wedding anniversary.
Right.
Okay.
I knew you were going to say that. Ha!
Cheryl, I'm going to bring a picture up on the screen. It'll cover us all up. It's an overlay.
All right. Oh, Jesus.
What do you
Wow.
see? What do you see?
What I see in that, I see a guy, and also to me, there's an angel in that. What I'm seeing into that, and then to the right, way right of that beam going upward, that probe is what I call them. That shooting probe of energy to the right over there. That to me is not a good sign.
To the
That
right.
That feels really,
yeah, I never
really.
That
doesn't
was
feel good
caught
to me.
with a game cam.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't have good
that was
feelings
down
about
at the
that.
cemetery.
Yeah, I don't have good feelings of that, not at all.
But
this Gary already has the wood cut for us.
Yeah, we got the wood. We bring a fire pit down for the evening.
We bring have a bonfire and dogs.
In October, November, we need a fire pit.
Right.
Well, actually, we need a fire pit anyway because I'm cold all the time.
Me too. And also, I want s'mores and hot dogs.
We'll have that.
We always have that.
Yep.
We always have that.
Marshmallows. I had marshmallows in the shape of ghosts.
Ooh!
And you're guaranteed to see a ghost on an event.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even if it's kind of sugary and good for your tummy, I guess.
We've caught
one ain't gonna kill you.
We've caught a lot of stuff down there. Look at the picture that was caught with the. To us, it looked like a Bigfoot sitting in Pastor Gary's truck. To Denise, the Indian.
It was an Indian walking by the truck, and
it looked like a Bigfoot sitting inside the truck.
Denise, I told you guys sometimes you have to come up here to Omaha, Nebraska, and go to Hummel Park. That's where I captured. Well, not me. It was the girl that was taking pictures for me. I was talking to an Indian chief, and we captured his headdress. Well, from his hips up.
Mm-hmm.
It's at a park.
Yeah, it's a park. Hummel Park. Look it up.
Hummels?
Hummel.
Okay, so as in the figurines, the Hummels, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I've heard of that.
It's Hummel. Hummel Park in Omaha.
Well, we got about 2 minutes left on this show because there's a show right after this one on Things Network.
Yeah.
So, Denise, tell everybody where they can find you and what's coming up.
So you can find me every Monday night on WBHM-DB.com. My guest coming up on this Monday is Katie Stafford from Ghosts of Morgan City, and ... We don't know what else is in there, but I did find out that he is creating equipment for Jack Osbourne now. So he's going to have us some stories about things that we all might want to know about. And we're also going to have his wife on, Katie. And
please let us know when go plan.
It's going to be great.
When we're going to the cemetery.
Oh,
yes. Third weekend in May. You just got to let me know.
We can. We can do that.
So, guys, make sure you check
accommodate
that out.
a lot of people out there.
Oh, yeah.
There's lots of spots.
Yeah, we put tents up everywhere.
And Carl even brings a porta potty.
Nice.
Yes, I do.
Good.
I make sure the women are treated right out there.
Good. Thank you.
They got privacy and everything. So
good.
We do that. Yeah.
The men just whiz everywhere.
That's right. We go find a tree.
Our secret's out.
Women cop a squat and men just whiz. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Oh, Charlie. Hey, Charlie, what are you guys talking about?
Thank you for having me on, by the way, guys.
Oh, no problem.
Cheryl, anytime you want to come on this show, you're welcome.
Thank you so much.
I
Really.
mean, I enjoyed having you here. We didn't get to talk politics,
Oh,
but
bummer,
that's
but I
all
can.
right. We'll do that again.
Oh, we got
There's
it.
always something going on, so we can talk
Yeah.
about that because we do that over here on the Bill of Rights Network. We've got a lot of shows.
I love that. Yeah, have me on anytime. I'd love to roll with that sometime.
Oh, I will. I
Next
will.
week's show is
If I can get a hold of you on a Sunday night, I do Freedom TV, and
Nice.
we can cut.
Oh, well, just message me.
I will.
We're at time.
I will.
Bye, everybody.
So
Love
we'll
you
talk
guys.
to you
Thank
later.
you.
See ya.
Okay.
Bye.
Night.
Bye, guys.